project has, instead of camps, has so-called design reviews. And the design reviews, there you have to review what you have reached, how much you have increased the success probability, and how much you have reduced the risk. It has nothing to do with which activities have you completed, because completing an activity normally means nothing or not much in terms of the success probability. And these are normally management decisions, whether either to rework, to stop, to redesign, or to release the next phase. Managing risks is extremely important. I'm not going into the individual risks here because of the lack of time. Technical risks normally are not the dominant risk. It's not that you do not reach the targets. The biggest risk on the technical side, which I have seen, is the following. I often got final reports of projects where the academic people, the university people, they were very proud. They said, we have reached all the targets. We were even better than what we have agreed we should reach. So we are proud, and the project has been a big success. And then I asked the industry people, and the industry people were polite, and they said, well, we have learned a lot. And whenever I hear I've learned a lot, then the alarm clocks ring. And then I said, well, what the hell, you know, you wanted to really produce a product, why don't you do it? And then they said, well, they did a good job, the university people did a good job, and they fulfilled all the targets as they have said in the report, but that's not really what we need. And that's what the hell, it's your damn job to tell the people what you need. That's no excuse. So that's really, it's very important to constantly keep track of the target spec, whether it's really still the correct target spec, because the world is changing. At least the external world is changing fast. And if it's not constantly monitored and the target spec is adapted, that is, in my opinion, the most important reason for project failure. Something which is contrary to human nature is picking the highest road first. You know, when we start a project, I'm also emotionally like that, I have to admit. What I would like to do is to do the easiest thing first and optimize a project for progress report and not for success. It's a totally different thing where you plan the project such that you get a constant flow of positive progress reports instead of really attacking the difficult problems. But if you do not attack the difficult problems, the example is the new Coke in the 90s, which was a huge financial loss for the Coca-Cola company, but also an image loss. If you do not attack the risks, then project mortality has a maximum at the end of the project, where costs, the cumulative costs are already very high. If you do a risk management, then still projects have a project mortality, but you shift that to the start of the project. And at the start of the project, the costs are small, and the value of what you have learned is actually much bigger than the total cost. Do you know what that is? That's high jump without the bar. And most feasibility studies which I have seen correspond to high jump without the bar. People study feasibility, but they never say how high the bar is. What has to be proven? It's simply activity. Yeah, we do a feasibility study. So a correct feasibility study should show what has to be reached to prove feasibility. And if not, then it doesn't have much meaning. Another issue which I have seen in many projects is the definition of milestones. That milestones are activity oriented. you define as a milestone that you have completed a certain activity, such in the examples here. What do you think about these milestones? Do they show that the project has made progress? The project is to develop a perpetual mobile, which everybody knows is no chance, never works. But it's easy to reach such milestones. So the milestones have no meaning at all, because they have nothing to do with project success, they have nothing to do with minimizing risks. Similar thing with targets. Okay. Similar thing with targets. Sounds good what the politician is saying. But if you read the sentence carefully, then the only thing the politician really says, that his target is to have an intention, which isn't much. Which for a politician is fine, because the dangerous politicians are the ones which try to keep their election promises. But a target is not an intention or activity. It has to do with reducing the risks and with increasing the success probability. So it's a standard, and it needs a control criterion. For instance, that the feasibility study has been completed and you have shown that this thing is feasible. Or if it's sensor electronics development, it only makes sense. It means nothing that you have completed the development. It only makes sense if you have reached what you wanted to reach. Okay, so this brings me to the 6 most important success factors. And one factor which is often neglected is the last one, which has to do with soft issues. That is a very important one. I do not want to go through all these factors. You can read it yourself. It's also in the written text. So this brings me to the last slide, a slide which you have shown again, which I have shown already, which you have seen again. Product innovation really has something to do with planning a Mars mission. So first, the message, critical messages are: first, define your success criteria, your success scenario, what you really want to achieve, what the world should be after how the world should be after you finish your project. Then plan backwards and do a risk-oriented planning, keep minimizing the risks as early as possible and plucking the highest hanging fruit first. Thank you very much for your attention.